Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. You can tell by the t-shirt today. Today I'm going to be doing the next two stages of the Hachette Partworks release of build the B.III Lancaster bomber. So I'm going to be doing stages 20 to 21. 20 is very similar to what we've already created. If I show you that here, you can realise how small some of these parts actually are, which means I'm just going to be constantly wearing these things today. If you want to get them, they are available in my Amazon store. I'll put a link down there. But look how tiny it is. So we're going to make another one of those, and then we're going to be adding that to the cylinder block here. And then we're going to be moving on to stage 21, where I think we're putting the prop shaft in. But we'll have to come to that together and see what that looks like. Now, if you do want to get this for yourself, I'll put a link in the video description. And there's also a QR code on the screen. But without further ado, get your glasses ready. Let's get cracking. So the reason I didn't do this last week was because it is a complete mirror of what we've done. So I am going to kind of whiz through this stage here. I think the only difference is that once we've got to the stage where we put everything together here, which is where we finished the last stage off, we are now going to be putting these together. So I will slow down when we get to that. But this is the rest of the magazine, looking just like that. Now all the parts come in this tiny box here. I've just zoomed up some of the cameras, because we are working on tiny things today. And I am just going to lay out these exhaust ports to see if there is any difference again. And that's something I've just done here. I do seem to have two which seem to go off in another direction to these. But when it comes to putting them into the cylinder head, I will make sure they're straight, exactly like I used for this one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking these two pieces just like last time. And I am going to piece these together. I'll put some glue on that and make sure that that's tight there. Now the next piece I'm putting on is tiny, looking like this. It's got a shorter end this end to this end, so it's going to be going on this way into the holes. Got 3 holes just here. It's so tiny that I've actually just put some glue just on my bit of plastic here to touch these in, so I'm not putting too much glue on them. And you do want that to fit flush in there, like that. In the holes just below it, I've got this section here. Again, I've dropped that in glue. So now that's on. And now it's a case of taking these little tiny rubber sections here. Look, check how tiny these are. Just like last time. And I'm going to be putting them into the 6 holes that are from the bottom there onto the rail we've just put in. And what I do is I just touch this into the glue that I've got here. So I'm not putting too much glue on this. And I'll get all of these in. I'm going to show you on the top camera. I think it's probably best. That's what that looks like when they're all in. It's now time to put in all the exhaust ports. So the same way, I'm just going to rub them into some glue. Put these in. And ensure that they're at 90 degrees and straight. Perfect. Now, they do go off in this direction here. So let's get all of these in. The secret here is to use the very minimum amount of glue. If you use too much glue, you're going to get yourself into a right mess, I think. And there we go. When they're all in, they look just like that. Now, at the top here, I've got the cylinder cover, which is going to go onto the top, just on this section here. So making sure I put it in the right way. I'm using a cocktail stick now to put the glue in. It's so tiny, the brush is just too big. And make sure we put it in the right way. So the detailed end is going towards this end here. Perfect. So that's the cover in. Tiny work. Put that to one side, and this is where things get a little bit different now. Now, apparently in the picture it's showing this part here has got a peg on the end, but as you can see, my one hasn't got a peg on the end. Don't know if that's going to cause a problem later on. It might do. I'm guessing a pipe's going to go into there, but I don't have a peg in the end of that one. But I've got a round end, and I've got an end which is meant to have a peg. I'm going to be putting this section on here, again with the round end facing me. Loading some glue up, because I'm going to need to put this into the first lot of slots on each side here. Let me get some more glue. So I'm going to put them in now, and I'll show you how this looks. One there. Perfect. And that's going to go in just like that. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the one on the other side here. Again, with all of the round sections facing the same direction. And there we go. That is how that is looking. Pretty cool. Now we're going to be piecing both of these to each side of the engine here. So it's going to be going around this way with the end that's meant to have that pin on coming out this way. So I'm going to put some glue in here. There is 3 holes to put this in here. Just going to hold that for a second, and there we go. That's one side in. And let's just do exactly the same on the other side. And there you go. That is how that's looking. Pretty crazy, huh? Okay, now on this bit that we're going to be mounting it to, we've got small holes on this side, or small slots, long slots on this side. You need to match them up with the bottom of this section. So I'm going to do a quick dry fit. See how these look. And it's going to fit in pretty much like that. So now I know which way it's going in. I'm going to put some glue just into these holes. And there we go. That is fiddly. But there we go. We've got our tiny engine looking like that. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 21, look at these parts we've got here. We've got the propeller drive cog and the propeller shaft here. We're going to be putting this together, then adding this to the engine like you see here. So by the end of it, it's looking just like this. Here's the rest of the magazine. Let's do this. Oh, actually, look, this is what's coming in the next stage, just so you can see. Carburetor unit, supercharger, casing unit, and connectors, starter motor, and piping. So this is the prop shaft first. Now you've got a longer indented end there and a shorter indented here, the end there. It's the shorter end that I want first. Now that is going to be going into this tiny piece here. Now I've heard it's a tight fit, so I am going to just drop that in a little bit of oil to see how far down I can get this. Oh, wasn't a tight fit at all. There we go. That went in no problems at all. Now I do have this bearing here, which is just going to go over the top of this section. And perhaps it was the bearing that's the tight fit. So stand by. Anything that's a tight fit, I am putting in some oil just to help me slip that on. So to do this, what I'm going to do is put them in between my duckbill pliers there. I'm going to be able to hammer this down into position. And there we go. That's all the way down. You are going to need to do something like that. That's really tough to get that all the way down. Now I've got this propeller reduction gear here, looking like this. I want to put this through here all the way to the end, just like that. And then at the other side here, I've got its partner. And that's going to be matching these up. Now, we don't glue this. But as you can see, it should match perfectly like that. Because what we're going to be doing is putting this into the engine. It's going to go through this center of the engine assembly here. So it comes out the other side. And then this part that we got here is now attached to that end there. As you can see, now we're going to be holding that in with an FP screw. So I've got one here. I'm going to see if I can get that all the way in. That's got in fine. Now you don't want that too tight. You don't want to over tighten it. But there we go. That's in. Looking like that. Hopefully. It's hard to show you blacks on this. Okay, but that's in. Now I've got these pipes to put in. So we really are going to the detail. We've got a small hole just down the bottom there. So once again, I've just loaded up some glue. I'm going to put that in that small hole. And put the tab on the pipes, which is just under the bottom of this square section, in that hole. Now, again, hopefully you can see this. The pipe that's coming down here is going into the hole just at the bottom there. There we go. That's in. I've got this lower pipe here, going on a small lug that we've got just there. Perfect. And it's very hard to show you the last one, but there's sort of like a slot behind this section here, which I'm just going to put some glue in for this last pipe to go in. Just like that. Hopefully you can see that. So that's those tiny, tiny pipes in. Now the pipe that I just put in behind there, there's a slot next to it as well. And I need to remember that because the next part I'm putting in is going to hide this screw hole here. I'm going to dot some glue on that. And this is what that pipe looks like. Let's get that one in. It has got a direction, so it needs to go in kind of like that. Hopefully you can see. And then in that slot next to the one I've just put in, this is going to be fiddly. I'm going to be putting this pipe. Yeah, that weren't easy to get in. But there we go. That's how now that's looking. Now on top of the engine here, I've got two cooling pipes to go in. And there is the tiniest hole just here for that. So let me just get this one in first. Yeah, these aren't easy to get in, but that's one in. Let's do the one on the other side. Yeah, that's not easy to get in, but hopefully you can see they're in like that. You need to concentrate. All we've got left, a bit more glue here. And on the bottom of the engine, I've got a tab just at the back here with a hole. Hopefully you can see that. And that's for this pipe to go in. And the bottom of this pipe just rests on this ledge here. I am going to put just a tiny bit of glue in there to keep that into place. Otherwise I'm going to knock it, you know me. So, there you go. That is all there is to do in that stage. We do have one last part left over, which looks like that. We're not actually putting that in. But that was okay to build, but it's extremely fiddly. And if you want to know how that looks, look, it's absolutely tiny. Wow. Anyway, that's certainly going to test a lot of you. I hope my video has helped there. But once again, if you do want to get this for yourself, I'll put a link in the video description, and there's also a QR code on the screen. But I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.